So, hello everyone, we have come to the end of this course, and in this presentation I would try to recap some of the things that we had learned in this course, and basically I would raise these 4 questions because I want the answers and I want the discussions to be there with you for a long period of time, at least whether you are or you would be interested in doing your research and investigations in urban ecology or urban heritage or interrelated domains like that. So, it is important for us again to do a bit of a recap about what this course has been all about, and why was it important for all of us to really explore urban ecological heritage, the various theories and applications, testing them, validating them across different and diverse empirical contexts of applications. So, we had also kind of focused mainly on 2 very important metropolitan cities of India, Kolkata and Bangalore, and how had we done that, and like the way we had done it, can we say that this methodology or the format also has application across scales. So, this is also something that we need to answer, and finally, like what now or what next. So, towards what? Of course, SDGs, this is the crux of the discussion, like whether we come from economics background, we come from urban studies background, development studies, any other different kinds of domain we are affiliated in or we are doing our investigations on. I think SDGs are something which are very, very relevant in all these discussions. And so far as this particular course is concerned, the focus SDG had been like SDG 11, which is making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable. So, SDG 11 it is all about sustainable cities and community, but more specifically we had also focused on the target 4 so far as SDG 11 is concerned, and this target 11.4 is very, very important, I think, because it talks about the protection and safeguarding of world's natural and cultural heritage. And this is very important because like we all know that how like cities had always been understood or perceived as antithetical to nature, but it is this SDG, this SDG 11.4 that actually talks about the couple urban and ecological subsystems together. So, this embeddedness between urban and environment is very much there. So, what I would like to say is that this is the opportune moment which all of us should be tapping and harnessing together. And I think that this is very important also from the point of view that like some urban ecological research domains, interdisciplinary domains already started talking about this coupled urban nature systems, or trying to understand the urban as social ecological systems, or from the social ecological system perspectives, because the idea is that urban resilience or urban metabolism to a great extent demonstrate and manifest the intersections or the the intersecting interactions and interactions between metabolic flows, governance structures, institutional arrangements and networks, diverse range of social dynamics and components, and built environment. So, and this diagram I think is very, very apt because it really shows the interactions among all of them. And it is very important for researchers to really focus on these interactions across particular or within particular urban context, urban ecological context, in order to explore urban resilience. So, it is important not to just develop and impose designs on the urban system or the urban ecological system, but it is important to really document, explore and understand all the different diverse sets of or diverse range of elements and components that are already there. So, the more robust our understanding would be, we would be able to do more justice to urban resilience. Similarly, like in urban ecology also, for a long period of time urban ecology, or maybe the discipline of ecology was very much dominated by natural sciences understandings and perspectives. But during the 1920s or so, there was the emergence of this Chicago school of urban sociology, where the sociologists started discussing about the different social components that dot the urban system, and from there on I think the discipline of urban ecology had made lots and lots of progress, and we see that how historians, political ecologists, anthropologists, they have come together in understanding these interactions between the urban and ecological as like coupled subsystems. So, and again emerging frameworks, very recent frameworks such as for example historical urban political ecology or HUBE, they offer very exciting analysis and dimensions to urban ecology, and heritage also is thickly embedded in these kind of frameworks or interdisciplinary frameworks, paradigms and approaches. Why? Because there is lot of emphasis on the historical or the temporal trajectories. So, it means that this kind of frameworks, they provoke us to really focus on the unfolding of the co-evolution of, or the simultaneous evolution of the urban and her wider ecological infrastructures or wider environments, right. So, and then what is heritage? Now, heritage is not something which is only like hard infrastructures or artifacts or monuments or buildings. Yes, they are part of the heritage narrative and story, but at the same time several other intangible elements. But what is very significant about ecology is that ecology is also a messy assemblage of multiple tangible and intangible entities. And this recognition, this realization is really now coming to prominence, and I think SDG 11.4 is all about this. So, I think this is the right time where we can really start understanding and applying interdisciplinary frameworks, interdisciplinary urban ecological frameworks to really do justice to this concept of urban ecological heritage, and there could be many paradigms and frameworks towards this, and HUBE or historical urban political ecology I think is one of the important approaches which then enable us to understand this co-evolution of or this making and shaping of urban nature across long term temporal trajectories, where researchers also they explore the conflicts, collaborations, negotiations, bargains, mediations among multiple actors, both human and non-human, who are part and parcel of the story of the shaping of urban nature. Yes, for a long period of time we all know that cities only implied or cities only meant built infrastructures, like for example big buildings and flyovers, high rises, bridges, etc. And on the other hand, ecology only implied water bodies, pasture lands, forests and all that. But that this particular understanding which tries to kind of segregate cities from nature and nature from cities, so vice versa, that this kind of a perspective is reductionist. This is a realization which has taken place in the last 2.5 decades or so, and I really like this particular picture. This is a watercolor picture. This is beautiful because to a great extent, if you focus, if you zoom into this picture, at least I can see how this urban components, the picture shows that how these urban components are actually being built or they are unfolding over the larger ecological settings and configurations. So, that the relationship is actually embedded, and this we have discussed throughout this course, that like why it is important to really focus on the embeddedness between urban and nature, that they are coupled, that they are an integrated system. This understanding is very much it has to be there very much. And when we are discussing heritage, when we are discussing inheritance of both ecology and urban, then this lens or the perspective of embeddedness also finds like lot of significance, I guess. So, it is very important that how then we try to address and understand the relationship between three otherwise like separate terminologies or concepts like urban and nature and heritage, but again how three of them are interrelated, extremely interrelated and embedded with each other with their different dimensional stories and realities so far as particular geographical context or urban contours are concerned. And this is something which I also wanted to discuss, because I want you to, I want you to keep focusing on all these discussions that had been done, or all the conversations that took place through this course, and this should leave an impact and imprint on you, and whatever your area of research is, whether you are a practitioner or a student or a researcher. I think these kind of understandings, they have their universal significance to a great extent, and they should be applied across different contexts. And this really this particular understanding again I think is very cutting edge and path breaking, because this is a article by S.T.A. Pickett and his colleagues, where they floated this idea of why not ecology in, but ecology of and ecology for cities. And they made this clear cut distinctions between what happens if it is ecology in cities and how ecology of cities is different from ecology in cities, and why then finally we should collaborate together towards the collective aim and envisioning of ecology for cities. That is the argument over there. So, ecology in cities, again this is like very top down, because what happens here is that the focus is very disciplinary, and from the sustainability application point of view, the entire planning and all the other things, there is a lot of focus on biotic sustainability. So, it is managed from top, and there is little regards or less attention to the embeddedness that we were discussing about, and with its implication for both theories and application. Then when we move from ecology into ecology of cities, there is a larger understanding about again this embeddedness between nature and ecology, how they are absolutely from day one integrated with each other, how cities have been carved out from their larger environmental settings, right. And so, again you see that here cities or urban nature is understood as an approach from the point of view of hybrids and mosaics, right. So, hybrid patches and urban mosaic, and of course, urban is understood from or as social ecological systems. Then the final aim should be ecology for cities. So, and this really involves transdisciplinary actions, engagements and exchanges leading to or through co-creation and co-production of knowledge, where you involve everyone in planning, in resilience understanding, resilience planning, design and management. And if this whole thing, this like urban ecological heritage theory and application, it has that transdisciplinary edge, then only long term viability can be ensured. otherwise it makes no sense. So, this is I think that is why I find lot of sense in this particular paradigms of ecology in, of and for cities, and the clear cut, clearly laid out arguments about like why it should be ecology of towards ecology for cities and not restricted within ecology in cities, and this is very important from the application perspective as well. So, yes, so this question of how has to be there. So, we had discussed several theories, we had discussed like lot of facts and figures that are there in the reports and documents published by United Nations, more specifically UNESCO, ICOMOS, ICCROM, so far as this urban heritage discussion is concerned. But what is important is that personally we felt that a course on urban ecological heritage should emphasize on multimodal methodology. Now, multimodal methodology not only to pursue and conduct the research, but also to disseminate the results, curate the findings, and like place it before the larger audience, because otherwise this urban ecological heritage should or cannot remain just on paper. It is something which is very vibrant, it is something which is very real and real life, right. So, TD, this transdisciplinary engagement from day one is very, very important. Now, so what we did was that as we were so much motivated with this idea of multimodal techniques and methods and methodologies, that we made a bold attempt of also making this course or rather kind of designing or structuring this course following a multimodal format. So, you will see and you have seen that how this course not only was confined within classroom studio lectures, but it also integrated different formats together to convey a meta narrative. So, like what we did was that we did scoping analysis, scoping exercises and analysis of all the facts and findings across the different documents and reports from the agencies and organizations that are now extensively focusing on urban heritage. And then we also covered some theories from the secondary scholarship. We gave examples, we provided like concrete examples to kind of validate or verify some of the theories that we had discussed, but again we took those examples from secondary literature or secondary scholarships, but then we took the I think most important and the boldest step to going to the field, recording the landscapes and interviewing people, and then using those first hand narratives, making you directly hear their voices, their aspirations and the messages that they had to convey. So, we kind of combined and collated all these things together, also our first hand experiences from this multi stakeholder engagement knowledge co-production workshops, and like our also examples from our ongoing transdisciplinary action research projects. So, that is how, and that is why I think this course also has lot of meaning in terms of in terms of demonstrating why immersive interactive captures and curations are very significant for eliciting and forging transdisciplinary awareness, participation, involvement and engagement for a long period of time. So, the final question or the final argument with which I would like to end this course, not to end it in an abrupt manner, but just also to say that this is the beginning of our larger understanding and collaboration, and maybe like all of us who have overlaps or overlapping research and I mean who have overlapping research interests and who have plans to work in this area of urban heritage or urban ecological heritage. I think our like collaboration should go on across our aligned interests of research and domains of research, because this also has to be like there has to be mutual learning and mutual learning alliances to really put forward our dreams into actions. So, I think like through this course and through those examples, through the case studies, through the field narratives, and by putting before you real life scenarios through which we could also I think pay heed to ground truthing, which I am trying to convey, we are trying to convey that heritage is for, of and by all, by everyone. And I must I think acknowledge Professor Dr. Anuradha Chaudhary from our department, who beautifully tried to work on this acronym heritage, fleshing it out as historically enriched right interventions through technologically aided grassroots engagement. And all these words and these words together, they really beautifully convey what heritage is and what heritage should be when we envision heritage across different contexts, whether urban, rural, any geography, any landscape for that matter. So, yes, and we feel that this understanding is important, it is meaningful to forge and craft just, quote unquote just, which means from justice, so justice is the root word. So, towards just and inclusive knowledge to action pathways. So, through this course we would like to convey that let us not think that heritage yes, heritage is a physical edifice or heritage implies artifacts, but the argument is, and I think through the different presentations of this course, this is clear by now that heritage this idea really is not confined within this material physical edifices and artifacts, but heritage exists everywhere, and especially as living systems infrastructures dotting urban ecological palimpsests and beyond.